Which airline is truly the best in America? Year after year, the winner has been an airline you know for its fancy seats and lounges and for usually getting you to the gate on time, an airline Wall Street loves for its big profits. We're talking, of course, about Delta Airlines, which has now won the title of Best Airline in America for an incredible 8 straight years. But this year, it was really close. United Airlines is hot on Delta's tail and doing some things better than Delta. Even Southwest Airlines was in striking distance despite changing up so many of the things customers knew and loved about Southwest. So here's the question. Is Delta still actually America's best airline, or is its crown in jeopardy? Let's take a look. For a solid decade now, Delta has been the airline everyone in the industry has sort of looked up to. Year after year, it's been one of the nation's most reliable airlines when it comes to being on time, for not canceling flights, for not losing your bag. And during that same time, Delta's also really leaned into being a premium airline. It had the Delta One suites with the sliding privacy doors. Way before that was the cool feature every airline had to have in business class. Delta's Sky Clubs are easily the nicest airline lounges in the US, and if you haven't visited one of its Delta One lounges, those are next level. The airline was also one of the first to lead the charge toward making Wi-Fi free on board for everyone, and its SkyMiles loyalty program is super popular. Crazy stat Delta shared just a few years ago, something like 40% of the US population has a SkyMiles number. Oh, and did I mention they make a ton of money too? Wall Street loves Delta because it's been the most profitable airline again and again. A big reason, it's Delta Amex credit cards, which made the company an incredible $8 billion last year. Basically, Delta has just been playing the long game, and for a long time now has just done things a little better, sometimes a lot better than all the other airlines. Things are getting interesting though. After being on top of the airline industry for so long, Delta now has a real challenger. United Airlines was second in our best airlines rankings this year, and our data shows it was so close United would have won if it just hadn't had the industry's worst record for losing bags last year. Across the industry, there's a real feeling that it's Delta and United up at the top and then everybody else. A big reason, United is really the airline that's making the big, bold moves right now. Just like Delta, it's got the high-end seats, the premium lounges, you name it, but it's also made a huge splash by flying to exotic new destinations and generating a ton of buzz in the process, from Greenland to Mongolia to the South Island of New Zealand and places you've maybe never heard of in Italy, Spain, Australia. United's made really clear it's not trying to go head-to-head with American or Southwest. It's going after Delta, and in some ways, it might be pulling ahead. Just as an example, both airlines now have seatback screens on their planes, but on United, you can connect your Bluetooth headphones like AirPods. Both airlines are rolling out free Wi-Fi, but United's service is going to be a lot faster, a lot sooner, with Starlink service going onto planes as we speak. And United just outdid everybody in the US with its spiffy new Polaris Studio Suites, which I recently had the chance to fly on, 17 hours to Singapore. Not a bad way to cross the Pacific. Huge suite, enormous TV screen. You get caviar and wine pairings. This might be the nicest airplane seat in America. Delta does not have something that directly competes with this, at least right now.
Delta's also had some operational challenges the last few months. It's been canceling flights more often than customers are used to. In fact, so far this year, its cancellation rate is worse than 5 other airlines. Normally, it's among the best of the industry.
We also have to point out the value of its miles don't help either. We run the numbers every month here at TPG, and while you can find a good Delta award deal, especially when it does a flash sale, SkyMiles just don't go as far as what you see on many of Delta's top competitors. So when you see United catching up to Delta in so many different areas, it's not hard to imagine a day someday in the future, maybe someday soon, where United might be considered America's best airline. That is, if Southwest doesn't get there first. I think this surprised a lot of people. Southwest Airlines got the proverbial bronze medal in our airline rankings, even though they started charging for checked bags, even though they got rid of open seating, which had been around for 50 years. Yeah, Southwest did a lot of things that got customers up in arms over the past year, but what's undeniable is that they also got a lot better at doing the basics, like getting you to the gate on time. Southwest has made huge improvements from just a few years ago when it had that big holiday meltdown. Now it's talking about adding things like airport lounges, long-haul flights, maybe first-class seats. If Southwest does all of that and keeps airfare in check, which is a big if, things could get really interesting in the future. So at the end of the day, which airline really is the best in America? When we crunch all the data, all the numbers, Delta still comes out on top because it has so many things it does really well, or at least better than most. But thanks to United, it really is a closer call than it was even just a few years ago. And really, all the big airlines right now are trying to take a page out of Delta's playbook after seeing its success in recent years. Alaska Airlines is becoming a true global airline. American Airlines is trying to add a lot of the premium features that have been so lucrative for Delta. Of course, American led the nation in flight cancellations last year, but it did win the loyalty category of our best airlines report, so it has that going for it. And ultimately, of course, it all comes down to your personal preference. What's your favorite airline? Which airline do you think is the best? If you need any help making up your mind, you can check out our 2026 TPG Best Airlines report in the link below.